Well, hello, all of our listeners, and welcome to the Companion to the Companion. This is episode 11, and we are at 8/26/93 at the gorgeous Arlene Schnitzer Concert Hall in Portland, Oregon, lovingly known as the Schnitz. Welcome, Ian.
Indeed. Thank you for being here with me to discuss this wonderful show. And since it is episode 11, I just want to go ahead and just give a shout out to The 11, one of my favorite Grateful Dead songs. Go and listen to it.
Why not?
Done with this. Yeah.
A rock and roll bluegrass band learning how to play in strange time signatures. Yeah, it's good. It's very good. You just
But yeah,
the
the Schnitz, just starting with the name, love the name.
Yeah, and I went and I like to look up visual images of a theater from the inside and outside, or of a venue, just to kind of get a vibe for the whole thing.
Yeah.
And my God, this place looks gorgeous.
Yeah,
I've
beautiful.
never seen a show there.
Right.
I mean, we've been to Portland together. It's a cool town, but I've never seen a show in a place like this. My God.
Yeah.
It's gold and ornate, and supposedly the acoustics are wonderful, and I think that plays into what we probably both agree is a great show.
Yeah. Yeah, I think for me, it sounds like I might be a little bit more of a fan of the show than you, but I would put it up there with everything we've listened to so far. I think just for me, when I look at a show like this, the first thing that comes to mind is Attack. There's just something about the way they're approaching all of these songs that they're not even approaching them. They're just attacking these songs and they're like, just going crazy with them. Just like from the get-go, a 93, a 10-minute Runaway Jim to open the show.
It's something to prove right out of the gates. And then, a lot of people talk about this show as set one, potentially eclipsing set two. Yeah. And I'm close, but I think that's correct. This set just, there are 1, 2, 3, basically right out of the rip, headphones in the Companion. And they're all deserving. And for me, I think there were a number of highlights, but I think 4 songs really highlighted the show for me, and 3 of them are right here off the rip.
Right.
And all the interluded songs, the smaller songs, everything has little jams. It's playful, it's fun, it's Phish of now versus Phish of then is very different, but I really am enjoying all the 93s.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
And I think that it's that mathematical precision to the craft of the songs, and the improvisation is very, it's high energy, it's detailed, but also it's that real, we're going to turn on a dime at a random spot and really be together.
Yeah.
And I think this 93 was the year it gelled.
Right.
And this show, we're ending August 93 with this show, sadly. But it is, this is a real great exclamation point on the end of this run.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, there were so many moments in the show where it was just great, and they were playing and they were just about to go on to the next thing. And then they just kind of like, as a band, just kind of like stop and like slow back and just like play a whole nother section.
Yeah.
That was kind of detached from what they were originally playing, and unique, and just so playful, and so many little things to appreciate in every song. And
such a springboard to the future.
Yeah.
It's great.
And I would agree, if I had to choose a set, I would choose the first set over the second. But there are certainly many moments in the second set that blew me away too, which that's what's so great about the show. You're kind of like, I don't think, I couldn't say whether this would be a type of show where you would see the first set and be like, wow, it was amazing, and then that sets you up for something even greater, and then it would be a little bit of a letdown. I'm not sure how people felt about the show in the moment, but I can't imagine that. But
there was so much music prior. I think it kind of has that fourth quarter like slump that some shows can have. But the music prior, you're just smiles. You're like, give me anything, band.
Right.
Do anything, and I'm completely happy with this kind of show, I would assume.
So,
and that the Runaway Jim it brings me to another show that I was at that I felt that way, where we'll talk about 11/30/96 Sacramento forever, but that Runaway Jim opener blew my mind, and this one also.
Right.
Like, perfect opener, just, you really felt, I don't know, we've had some shows here that kind of for me, and listening just through this Runaway Jim, I was like, okay, I'm on board for this. It was really, really perfect.
Yep.
Just great opening of how to lay the carpet for success in your show.
I am always stunned with, I mean, Runaway Jim is a very simple song, but I'm always stunned at how much they're able to play with that, like when it just, the first little breakdown, the dun, 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 and then they just like play, and just to this day, even like they just played a Runaway Jim recently, and I was like, it was so cool, just that little section. I'm like, how are you managing
with it
to still play with this after so many versions? And toying with that little section here was just so sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, so great opening. And yeah, just like Sacramento 11/30/96 is about the attack. And I felt the same way at Dick's at the Fuck Your Face show, where by the end of the first tube, you know, I had seen many first tubes, but by the time they finished that song, I was like, well, that was something special. Like what's gotten into them tonight? There's something happening. And then halfway through the set, I was like, oh, okay.
That's
so yeah, sometimes they're just in that mood and you never really know when it's going to happen, but clearly it happened this night, I'd say. So
yeah, and this was off the bat the example of what you were saying, where I guess that I like using type 1 and type 2 as referential points for discussing where a jam is going, how it's moving away from where it is into a new realm. And this, as a Runaway Jim set opener in 1993, it goes type 2.
Yeah.
Like it falls on this gorgeous static harmony at like 6 minutes in, and then it gets out there and they really start to explore some ground. And, you know, I feel like the theater and the crowd and the mood in the room probably spoke to them, and it really sticks out right away.
Right.
It's impressive.
Totally.
It's a little rough coming out of the jam. Again, I'm going to have critiques here and there. You know, it's a little rough to the ending.
I agree.
But the peak at the ending just dusts that roughness away.
Right.
Like, one thing about Phish that I'll say over and over is they're the kind of band that they never give up.
Mm.
There's no giving up. There's no surrender. I've seen them build to a peak and push it, and it's a 20-minute jam, and they kind of fall on the build.
Yeah.
And they just bring it back around and build again.
Yeah.
Because they never fail. They know that they're there to deliver, and they deliver.
Yeah.
And that was one of those moments where they kind of stumbled a little and then over-delivered. It was gorgeous.
Yeah, that's very well put, because it does get a little weird there towards the end. But then I guess my first thought was like, this is the first song. Like the fact that they're getting weird in the first song, great.
You could go home like 6 songs into the show and have a great show.
Yeah,
like, that was wonderful. I'm fine.
You're right. Yeah. So we got Gula next. Great, beautifully played.
I really, you know, we listen to so much of this done well in this era of Phish. It is a compositional masterpiece.
It is.
It really is.
Oh yeah.
Like every time I hear it, I'm never sick of this song, and I get sick of some songs. And I mean, there's so many different takes of this band's style, but as a really compositionally more orchestral piece, it never ceases to amaze. this one was great.
Yeah.
And then the Neil Young joke at the end. Nice. They're having fun. Like, you think it's a serious theater and they're being really, you know, clinical with precision through up till that point, and then a little laugh. It made me feel really good.
Yeah, absolutely. I always thought it was so humorous that the middle section, which is titled "The Ass Festival" in Gula, it's like one of Phish's most impressive, like, classical. I don't know if that's a fugue, like Trey likes to say. Yep. I don't know, but yeah, I mean, it's just so incredible, and not just in the way it sounds, but it's like one of those pieces where not only is it aesthetically pleasing, but it's also kind of lights up your brain because you're like, how are they playing this? And it does both of those things simultaneously. And I think that's like unique and so Fishy. And when I think of like, you know, the adjective fishy gets used a lot, and then I kind of think, well, what is fishy? If I had to like play something that would be fishy, the things that I tend to think of are the Jam and Foam, the Ass Festival, the middle section to Gula, certainly like a simple jam, you know, like those sort of like the quiet interplay, not the big bombastic blues rock, but the sort of mix between the psychedelic interplay and the classical mixed together is kind of, I don't know what I tend to think. Well, that was word salad. My apologies. Yeah.
Well, it's hard to really smush it into one thing, but I think, you know, if you and I both love this band for similar and different reasons, but I think that it's a band that came up playing 70s bar rock. I sometimes say Phish is the best bar band you've ever seen because they have that bar rock swagger when they want it. Then they mix in a lot of Pink Floyd psychedelia, as well as compositional King Crimson and Genesis. Right. But, you know, and I listened, and I'm sure you did, to the Alive Again podcast, and hearing Trey really delve into all of his classical composition, his theory, how he really learned composition from that back end. And I think both you and I, probably you more than me, have a compositional classical background in some of the music that we love. I probably came from slightly of a more jazz perspective in composition than you, but I think it's what draws people like us to this band is that it's not just bar rock.
Right.
It's not just 70s rock. And I think this song really typifies that thing that we love about them.
Right.
And when they play it clean and execute it like this, and I think, you know, moving to the next song, Into Reba, it's silly lyrics at the beginning. They're both rhythmic, but also melodically kind of strange and fun. But then it falls into another composed, gorgeous piece of music that it has no genre. It's not rock. It's not progressive. It's not jazz. It's not classical. It's all of them combined into Phish.
Right.
And they're really honing that by this point in their career. They're saying, this is us. This is the music we make. We think it kicks ass. Right. And we're going to present it, you know, cleanly and energetically for all of you.
Right.
And I just, to witness it is joy.
Yeah.
And I'm sure at this point, you know, my first show was a little less than a year from this one, but it still had that energy. It's great to be around.
Yeah, for sure. And Esther is another song that comes up later in the set that I would also put in this category of just, you
can't categorize a song like Esther. It's impossible.
But before we get into how amazing the Reba is, I'm trying to think back what that book was called, but I think Dean Budnick wrote a book back, and it was like one of the first Phish books I wrote. And oh man, what was that thing called? The Fishing I don't know. I don't remember. But this was back like in 96.
The Fishing Manual?
Fishing Manual. Yes.
Does that sound right?
I think that's what it was. And I want to say that this thought was from that book, but that Reba is Hebrew for the word fish, and that when Phish composed that song, that they were trying to make a stew of everything that made up the band, and they were consciously trying to put in all of the elements that made up Phish so that Reba would be the representative song, and then it had the name Phish. And so I don't know, I'm not sure if it was from that book or not, or if there's any truth to that, but whatever, I guess it fits.
I like it. Are we announcing that Dean Budnick's on the podcast next week, or we're just gonna
Have we mentioned him before?
Yeah, I don't have his number, but we'll work on that.
Okay. Yeah. He's
I think everyone wants to be on this. So yes, and from Gula, which was great,
Uh-huh.
beautiful gym opener, into I think absolute A+ Phish with this Reba.
Yeah. Okay.
In a lot of these shows, I kind of highlight certain songs where I'm like, I need to, out of context, go really re-listen to that. And I listen to this one a bunch.
Yeah.
Like it's peak city. It makes you it's perfect.
Yeah.
Like it's really, I don't know that I have anything in any way negative to say about any of this song. It is just, it's as good as it gets. It's perfect.
I agree. I listened to it. It was
one of the moments in the show where I just, hands down.
Yeah.
No. Please.
No, I was gonna say I listened to it once and I was like, it couldn't have been that good. So I listened to it again a couple days later and I was like, damn.
Yep.
Yeah, and then the fee that followed it. I mean, the fee. Yeah. I mean, it was like a normal fee, and then it had a killer jam on it.
Yeah, it like really focuses in on that one strange little rhythm.
Yeah.
And, it's them showing off.
Yeah.
They're just, like, it's great. It's really great.
Yeah. And that's the kind of stuff that sticks with me.
Yeah.
So.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's what separates the shows.
Right.
Where every song has a little something. And I think this fee starts to really highlight who I think was the star of the show, which was Paige.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, Paige really was, August 93 was a Paige fest in a lot of ways. I think the Baby Grand being out there, and we've talked about it before on the podcast. Trey as a band leader is so good at getting behind someone and giving them a little nudge.
Mm-hmm.
And by this point, he still does it.
Yeah.
In watching the shows from this week, like he gets behind someone and gives them a nudge, and Paige crushes this show.
Yeah.
And I think he gives the little extra mustard, and then everyone else wants to give that too. And his solos in this fee, I think, inspired an ending out of it.
Mm-hmm.
They wanted to really tag it and make something special.
Yeah, I think that you're absolutely right, and I think he proves it with the Jesus Left Chicago Lizards combo in the second set,
yes.
Where by the end of that, you're just like, what is happening with Paige?
That's unfair. By set 2, you're like, this is like, you're kind of he's the lead of the band,
and he's inspiring the rest of the band. Like, I feel like Trey usually does a pretty good solo in Jesus Left Chicago, but after Paige's solo, Trey's like, oh, I really gotta step this up right now.
Yeah.
So
it had to be better than usual.
So
what are your thoughts on the megaphone? I'm just not to leave Fee just yet. I don't know how I feel about the megaphone. Like, in 93-4, it was always on stage. I've seen Trey do some really silly, stupid shit with like whipping it in front of his, like trying to use it as another instrument at times.
Right.
But I don't know that I love that he's utilizing the megaphone as the vocals, because it requires him to not play guitar.
That's a good point.
And so it thins it out a little. It's more storytelling. I'm really on the fence. I don't know which ones I like more as when the megaphone was always used versus times when it wasn't.
Right. Yeah, I guess if I had to choose, I would choose to have it without it, because I do feel like it's a little bit just distracting. Or when I hear it, I just feel like it reminds me of the studio gimmick and the fact that they're trying to recreate the studio gimmick. But is it really what the song necessarily needs? And I don't think so. I mean, I think, I'm going to go ahead and say, no megaphone.
Yeah, I mean, we could have the same conversation as this with the trampolines.
Yeah.
Like, I get it, but do we need them anymore? Like, are we still there?
I think the trampolines are nice. Like, I think the trampoline, because there's always going to be people at their first show. Are they going to be taken aback by a megaphone? No, they're just going to be like, well, that's kind of silly. But trampolines, and then coordinated trampoline jumping between the two, main guys.
Sure.
It
always has people cheering.
Memorable, and I love seeing it. It puts a smile on my face, and
And with Gula, synchronized dancing. I mean,
right.
I love some synchronized dancing. I would never get rid of that.
And in terms of megaphones, I don't want to totally shit on a megaphone, because if they bust out a megaphone during Antelope and want to make some crazy obnoxious noises or a melt, I'm all in.
All right.
But I think lyrically, I don't necessarily need it.
All right. Yeah. I think we're in agreement on that one. And then weird little jam and Fee into Split Open and Melt.
Right.
Again,
I don't think you can go wrong with the Split Open and Melt from 93.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, I have so many notes with this, like the dark shift, and then there's very interesting melodies that come out. It never slows down.
Right.
And I think that future Phish really tries to create a lot of peaks and valleys in a jam. This one is just power.
Right.
It gets out there, but it remains high energy. It remains powerful. Mm-hmm. And the ending is just insane. Mm-hmm. I think with the Reba too, where the Reba's great and finds some great, covers great ground, but the ending really just like, really puts a pin in it. And I think the Split Open and Melt has the same vibe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
More exploratory, but I mean, it's just great energy. I loved it.
Yeah. And the juxtaposition of, just all the songs that we've seen so far. Just wowzers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Complete difference all the way through.
Yeah.
And really like Phish classics.
Yeah.
I mean, this show again is one where the covers that are played, I mean, leaving Baby Gramps out of the whole thing.
Right.
The covers that are played are 2001, which, is technically not the original 2001. Mm-hmm. And then it's Jesus Left Chicago, and then it's Freebird. Like the cover choices are very, very interesting in this song or in the show.
Yeah.
But it's mostly originals, which a lot of the shows at this time were. There were very few covers, and I think they could stick to originals because the diversity was really growing in songwriting.
Yeah. Yeah, it is funny to think about that they're playing like Lynyrd Skynyrd and ZZ Top covers in Portland. Like, I guess but this is a totally different time, 93. I mean, grunge was big, and they would have been totally grunge. It was like indie hadn't even happened yet, so maybe that was a...
It was not cool. It was definitely not cool.
It was not cool. Okay.
No.
All right.
I would assume at that point playing Jesus Just Left Chicago wasn't cool yet.
Yeah, I'm sure no one knew what it was for the most part, probably.
Or maybe an acapella Freebird.
Yeah.
Like which, I love, and I'm sure fans were like, what the fuck is happening? But I don't know if cool is the word I would use, whereas now it seems in retrospect very cool.
You're right. Yeah. Tastemakers they are.
Tragedy plus time. And then we move to Esther.
Yeah.
Which I think I can't remember. I don't have it open in front of me, but that Fishnet gives this a like must listen. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I thought it was great. I thought it was a really, really great rendition.
Yeah, it was just a normal, great rendition. Yeah.
Yeah. That's how I felt. Fishnet and I have some difference of opinions.
Yeah, well, but I think like a song like Esther is like, I mean, it went out there once, maybe like Alpine. Am I remembering that right? Anyway, maybe. But yeah, I don't think Esther is really a song that's like meant to go improvisational or anything. So when I think of Esther, I'm just like perfect. As long as it's like perfectly well played, the story is well told. I'm able to engage with the lyrics. Then it's perfect. So yeah, I'll give it an A.
And then Ice. There was a lot of talking and yelling in this one.
Yeah, there was,
which I really liked.
It was a fun version.
And again, Paige, just on fire.
Yeah,
can't stop him already. And then when it moves into the hood, I don't think the Ice really warrants tons of conversation. I thought it was very good.
Yeah,
but the hood. So there's two songs in the show that I have thought were good, but I have some gripe with. Mm-hmm. And it's the hood and the Bowie.
Right.
And I thought that this hood was great. I thought it was really good, but I don't get the hype and the life-changing and the blah, blah, blah. I thought its placement was perfect. Right. I thought this set was organized in a way that was just gorgeous. Mm-hmm. And when this Harry hood comes in, you kind of think, I wrote down that I don't know when I first heard Mike's envelope filter.
Oh, yeah.
And I think this might have been in the intro the first time I ever remember hearing it.
Right.
Yeah. At least through this, I don't think I've heard it yet.
Yeah.
And the whole intro is really unique and interesting, and I thought, wow, this is going to be something. Mm-hmm. And then it was just kind of it was good.
I wrote down intro was the best part.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Full agreement. Mm-hmm. They did the work,
right?
But I wasn't, I wasn't inspired.
I've kind of forgotten now that, because it's not really a thing in 3 or 4.0, is like how much I used to look forward to the Harry Hood intro. And then I'm like, what are they going to do in this intro? You know, that was like such a thing back, but it doesn't even cross my mind anymore. I was just like, well, they're going to do the thing they always do. But yeah, like there were some wild moments in Hood intros, and especially in terms of them introducing Mike introducing new sounds. I seem to remember like in 97 or maybe 98, Mike doing his sort of like fart bombs. Yeah, you know, like really obnoxious kind of like sounds, and you'd just be like, oh boy. So yeah,
but that was fun.
Yeah, I love it.
I remember. Yeah. I can't remember if it was Chula Vista 99 or 2000, but it was your brother's first show.
Yeah,
99. I remember after the show, you telling me like that I asked what he thought of it. Did he have a good time? And he said to you, yeah, I had a really great time. I really liked that reggae song in the second set.
Yeah.
And he meant the intro to Harry Hood, which again, it grabs people. It's fun.
Yeah.
You can tell they're having fun, and they really create a lot of ups and downs and tension, and I thought this one got out there and was very unique.
Yeah.
And then Golgi closer, which is perfect.
Yeah. Love a Golgi closer. Well played. Nice peak. It's good.
Yeah, I don't mind that they blew a lot of the energy in the first, 3/4 of this set. And I feel like the second set kind of has that too. Like they're trying to throw it all out early. And then it kind of gets a little bit, the back half's a little flat.
Right.
But not horrible. And then we get our classic 93, 2001 opener.
Gotta have it.
For set 2.
Gotta have it.
Yeah, it's short, it's quick. I just wrote okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I was I was on the bus when 2001 changed. Mm-hmm. And I was there at Sacramento, which we talked about before.
Yeah.
And then a few nights later at the Aladdin Theater in Vegas.
Right.
And I watched the evolution of the song from where it was at this point. It took a long time to change.
Right.
But 96 was the time it changed.
Yeah.
And fall 96 specifically. And because I watched, we went to the end of that whole tour, watching that song change and evolve. I mean, it blew my mind.
Yeah.
When we were in Sacramento. And then the Vegas one was different, but further out there and more stretched out. And then, it became the monster it is today. But at this point, it was just tight. And I think they loved opening the set with a shitload of smoke and all the lights straight down. And it was like a shroud of energy and mood.
Right.
But it was 3 or 4 minutes and quick.
Yeah, not meant to be a musical exploration. And I mean, they hadn't quite found funk yet, It sounds like, based on what we've heard from history, that those James Brown CDs that they were listening to on the tour bus in 96 really changed the trajectory of the band, or changed their abilities and how they were looking at groove. And once they started kind of listening to that music, it all changed.
We also should. We got to find out that bus driver's name and bring him on the show, because he was pivotal to my life. Like that, as a young kid who loved, I was just getting into understanding what bass guitar was. I mean, 96, 97, 98 was when I really started to play music as a bassist, and I think that Mike Gordon and Phish being such a big part of my life then, and their movement into groove-based music really helped forward me in my playing, and I feel like we could trace it all back to one man.
It sounds like it, which is really cool. We should. I'm gonna look into that. Do some research.
Let's get him on here.
But so 2001 standard way to open, and then goes into Mr. Bowie, right? Or do we have something?
Sure does.
The David Bowie. This is the thing about Bowie. Would I put this Bowie on like a list of great Bowies? Probably not. Not probably not. I definitely wouldn't. But one of the things that I like about Bowie is just that they're kind of setting up a platform to get weird. And to just kind of like play with sound in an ugly way that makes you feel kind of uncomfortable, and then they'll kind of release it with the peak in the end. And that's kind of always how I thought of Bowie. And not that this is going to connect to anybody but Sam and I, but there was a local San Diego band called Plump, who I just think was an incredible band. And they had a song called Five Burts. And it was like the same sort of thing, or wherever the song started, I was like, oh, it's gonna get weird for a little while. And I just like love that feeling. Like I love that sort of idea that they have a song that's just kind of like, okay, we're gonna like Tweezer is like, we're gonna funk you out now for however long it's gonna take, or with the Harry Hood, we're gonna do this sort of cathartic anthemic build. And Bowie's just like, we're gonna get weird. And for some reason, on just like on a catering to my ego level, I like that, because I know there's probably not a lot of listeners that are like, that sounds good. And I think that sounds amazing. That's like exactly what I want out of music. I want to see musicians like really try and take it out there. So while I don't think this version was totally successful, and I think that some of the sort of places they tried to get to, it didn't really get to a completely satisfying place. I really just loved being out on that journey, in context to what I've experienced in the show so far. I feel like it worked as a song choice, if it wasn't the perfect deal. I don't know.
Yeah, I do think they threw a lot of, at this point in the show, they threw a lot of weight on it.
Yeah.
And I think that classic Bowie Lifeboy combo is a really strong vehicle for them. 93, 94 especially. I think 94 probably more. Like the Tweezer Lifeboy, the Bowie Lifeboy, they kind of built that as this, we're gonna get way out there. We're gonna push limits. We're gonna be grading at times, and then we're gonna bring it all back around with this ballad that's somewhat happy, but also a little bit of a downer.
Right.
Not a downer, but a introspective, emotional catharsis.
Yeah.
And I think between the two, they did a good job here. Yeah. I would take the Lifeboy over the Bowie any day of the week.
Uh-huh.
My exclamation is Phish ballads rule.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Page again, just, I wrote, I'm moving on from the Bowie already.
Yeah.
I agree with almost everything you said.
Yeah.
It got out there, but I don't know if it always connected, but I love Risk. Yeah. And if I was there, I'm sure it would have been fascinating, but I'm not going to go re-listen all the time.
Of course, yeah.
But, I came up, it's going to date me just mildly, but I like being my age. When I was at junior high dances, which I've recently realized may have been the peak of my life. Just because it's so awkward and so difficult, and you're so full of hormones and emotions, and I don't know if it ever gets more clearly raw as a human than that.
Yeah.
We listened to there was a lot of hair metal ballads at that time.
Yeah.
For me, it was just prior to you. 92, 93. I was always shorter than all the girls, waiting on the sidelines. But I danced. I had girls I was trying to dance with. I was trying. And it made me, I've been re-listening to a lot of hair metal lately just for fun, getting energy. Work has been a real downer and a drag. And I'm trying to at the end of the night, get positive.
Yeah.
And, you put on Poison's Open Up and Say, the big rockers were great. But truly, I think every hair metal fan lives for the ballads.
Right.
And I think with Phish, yes, the rockers are great, but goddamn, Phish ballads are power.
Yeah.
And I think the emotion of the artist really oozes through in ballads. And I think that this Lifeboy was a great example. It is.
Oh, yeah.
Page was on fire through it. I thought that the freedom that they gave the melody through the end was just so beautiful and big. And it's like when you're indoors seeing a show and you feel a giant waft of fresh air over you, even though there's no air.
Right.
Moving.
Yeah.
And it's one of those. I thought it was great.
Yeah. Good description.
And then straight from Lifeboy, I guess we go into Rift, which at this point in the show was a pretty hefty load to put on this song.
Yeah.
I think placement wise. And they started so fast.
Yes.
I thought this one was a little bit freight train out of control.
I didn't love the riff. I think it probably is due to placement. Because
it's a tough spot.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't bad, but it also wasn't brilliant. And yeah, it's a tough spot. So
yeah, and it gets sandwiched in between two real high points of the show.
Yes.
And I think, speed, there's a point in Page's solo where you're like straight up hoe down high speed bluegrass. Like it is.
Yeah.
It's a little, I don't know. It felt a little runaway train.
Yeah.
But, and then it goes into another headphone in the book. And this one I sent you a message about because listening through the show, I didn't quite understand why Jesus Just Left Chicago would be a headphones, like must listen. And my God, this is another one I listened to a few times.
Yeah.
It is. Like, I guess you could play this for people that don't love the real technical composition aspect and they just love people that can solo and show off as a band.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of showing off.
How about Page's vocals? What's going on with Page's vocals, right?
Especially the last verse when it comes back.
Exactly.
Jesus loves Chicago, and he had it down to the bone. Jesus loves Chicago, and he had it down to New Orleans. Walking from one end to the other and all points in between.
It just
I'm constantly like doing that voice, like, and this is perfect. Like it's jokey, but good.
Yeah, but for Page to do that and be in that mood, it is like it's kind of rare. I feel like he's not usually the one kind of leading the jokes. But yeah, it was quite a performance. I mean, it was like one of those performances where you're just like, God, I hope ZZ Top has heard this,
Yeah.
Because really the love contained within this performance is really just, I mean, that's what I think is like when they put so much into this cover, they're not just playing it, they're exercising it from their souls. Just amazing.
And those dynamics of the huge to the just pin drop silent, both solos, and like it's I feel like when a band is really functioning well, it's a machine that's just so tight, it's just showing itself off,
right?
Like cars that go fast. I'm not a car guy, but I'm assuming that's what it's like to have like a fancy sports car,
right?
You like want to go and do that 0 to 60 in whatever seconds, and you want to it's that, but it's multiple people doing it all at once. It's not just one person showing off.
Right.
Yes, there's two people that take separate solos, but it's everyone adding the color and adding the dynamics, and it's something else.
Yeah, I think with Trey's like big solo, I think one of the main things that makes it so great is Fishman is like how in most of Trey's great solos, the way that Fishman reacts to him and accentuates what he's playing or repeats it with his drums is so unique and so incredible.
And those strange high bass notes that Mike's throwing in towards the end of Trey's solo, just to like, I mean, at that point, there's so much volume, it's hard to stick out as a bassist.
Yeah.
I've been there. And those notes are such a smart choice to add tension to a place. And, it was great. It stuck out.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because I actually forgot about that. I got kind of stuck in a little brain hole when in the show, and I was like thinking about Mike's decision making, especially in this period compared to where he is now. And he was just such a different player. And again, because he hadn't kind of like gotten into groove based music back then, it is almost kind of like this weird sort of jazzy, like not like, I don't know. Again, I will be at a loss to words to describe it, but he isn't like laying down a groove lots of times. He's sort of accentuating, like Fishman, what's happening with the rest of the band.
Yeah, he's reacting more than being proactive.
Right, which is not something you hear a lot with the bassist, like at least in popular music.
I think they talk a lot, around Mike's change through 96, 7, how he started playing modulus basses and he switched equipment and, I also will get into it later, but his gear changed again this tour. Mm-hmm. It looks like he's got the 18s back, but he had a move there where he was really transitioning his sound, and I think between 92.3 and 96, he was really searching and finding things, and there was nights he was perfect and on, and there were nights he was really struggling to have something different.
Yeah.
And I know, there was that stretch of People for a Louder Mic.
Right.
And I think a lot of that was just, as they grew, it's hard to make bass work in a big arena.
Yeah.
And I think 97, 8, 9 Phish, they talk about, his bass rig shrunk after that because it got so big that it was hard for the other musicians because it was such a mammoth sound on stage. Yeah. But for us in the audience as listeners, I loved that mammoth sound because it was mixed beautifully for me. Like you plop yourself right in front of the soundboard and it's, oh my God, like it's a big warm hug. But I think on stage it was drowning out a lot of stuff. So at this point, as a bassist in a theater, he may, they're mixing him a little low. Yeah. And so to stick out when the bands are, everyone's playing at full capacity, he kind of has to throw some of those high notes. And I thought it was smart.
Yeah.
It was cool.
That's what makes him Mike. And that's what makes him, when he combines that sensibility with the straight up bootsy funk, it's he makes cow funk, apparently.
Yeah. Which I still like as a term. I hate a lot of these Phish terms, but I like a lot of the ones the band coins, and I know that was a band coin term, and I think it makes a lot of sense.
It does.
Self-deprecating, but also like very Vermont.
Right. And they really sort of embraced it in 99 or like even 98 when everything started slowing down to the point where you're like, whoa, this is slow. You don't even notice that now, but okay. So now we got Lizards, and Lizards, we've talked about it before. Amazing song. Yes. This is great. It's fast. This is a fast version. I feel like, at least. But Page's solo is just it's like one of these jams where I know everybody kind of reacts. They have different visceral reactions when they listen to a moment where a band member does something just off the charts. And I laugh. My thing is I laugh. So I'll be like listening to headphones and somebody will do something. And I'll just be like, and sometimes my wife will be like, what stand-up comedy are you listening to? I'll be like, no, I'm listening to Phish. She'll be like, did you do something funny? I'd be like, no, they just did something amazing.
It was so perfect or outrageous. I laughed out loud. Yeah. I just had this conversation with a guy that I work with who also plays music, and he said to me, we talk about a lot of music, and we like to listen to comedy music a lot, especially closing at night. It's late, you're tired, and it helps keep the energy up. And he looked at, I think we were listening to 90s hair metal and late 80s hair metal, and he at one point looked at me and goes, you know what? I love when a band makes me laugh just from the choices they made. He's like, it's not humor. He's like, that's the best thing in music, when it just makes you laugh out loud from the choice they made.
Right.
And, he is not a fan of Phish in any way, shape, or form.
How is that possible?
But they're the ultimate band for doing it.
Yeah.
Just these little flourishes where you laugh. You're like, how did you just, out of nowhere, come up with that thing?
Yeah.
Those are the moments.
Right. Zappa was great at that too. Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, do you have anything else to add to the lizards? I would just say I thought Paige's solo was just like one of those moments where I laughed at the end of it. I was just like,
it was a beautiful rendition of Lizards and really well placed.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the show kind of, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how to feel about it. I don't know anything about Baby Gramps. I know he was like a legendary Seattle street performer.
Right.
I thought it was kind of, I don't know, it was just some noise. It was fine. I know what they were trying to do.
It was rootsy.
Yeah, it was interesting. I just, I wasn't after what we just saw, I don't know that was what I was looking for.
Sure.
And then it's weird that they walked off stage then, because then you get the Chalk Dust Freebird. Weird choice to call it after that.
Right.
For me.
Yeah.
It seems like you need one more something.
Right.
One more, Chalk Dust Freebird was the perfect encore. I thought they were both done really well. Good energy, nothing fancy, just great playing.
Yeah.
But it kind of killed the end of this set for me.
The fact that
the riff
they walked off
placement
after
and then this.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, even think about that. They just playing Hold Your Head Up and Trey's playing drums and then they just walk off stage.
Yeah. I guess I just assumed there was a reason for it. Somebody had to pee really bad or what. I don't know. I don't know what it was.
It is a weird statement to make.
Yeah.
But really, of the critiques of the show, that's one of the very few, I thought.
Yeah.
If we're going to pick 100, I'd listen to this again a number of times.
Yeah.
So I'm in. This one's in. It makes the cut.
For sure.
I know the next couple shows we're moving to the New Year's run from this year, both of which are going to be really fun.
Uh-huh.
And both of which shows, it's starting to get to where they have special places in my heart in a different way.
Right.
I just saw a few years ago a show at Cumberland County. I mean, it's 40 minutes from my house.
Uh-huh.
The Quad C, and it's pretty cool to have. I'd never been there.
Yeah.
So it was my first time going. Well, I'd been there. I saw Cirque du Soleil on ice with my kids.
Oh.
But it was my first time going and seeing, a Phish show or a concert at Cumberland County Civic Center.
Right.
And it was special.
Right.
And I thought about the next show we're going to do, episode 12, a lot.
Yeah.
And then I think 12/31, that New Year's show, there's moments in that were some of my favorite early Phish tape moments and convinced me to love the band. So
yeah,
we're going to have some good stuff.
I expect nothing less. Well, we've moved on to a new era of Phish, like I mentioned before, 4.0.
Yes.
It's just begun a couple week or so ago, and we've been listening to some of the jams. Sam, lead it off. What do you got to say?
First, I like that we should call this 4.0. I love new starts and new beginnings. I may delve into where life has brought us at this point, but my business is overwhelmingly difficult right now and has been through all of this mess and isn't really getting any better.
Yeah.
So my weeks are tough, and this week was one of those where I poked my head in and I was watching the set lists for the week and paying attention to what people were saying, and I listened to a few songs here and there and didn't really get the shot to put in the effort. And I know you and I had some back and forth messages.
Yeah. And
then just last night and then today and tonight a little bit, I was able to put my head into some of the shows, especially the Deer Creek shows.
Uh-huh.
Really pay attention to the set list, listen to a few songs, and then I watched a couple, and I was pretty impressed.
Yeah.
I gotta say, I'd like to focus a lot of my energy on just the one song, which was the Simple from the first night at Deer Creek.
Yeah.
I give the new lighting rig 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
Maybe the best that I've ever seen.
Yeah.
That was the most psychedelic shit I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, it was awesome.
And I've seen so many Phish tours with so many different lighting rigs and so many different ways that it interacts between the band and the audience.
Yeah.
I was just on my knees.
Yeah.
It's it was absolutely, it makes me want to do psychedelics again. It was so gorgeous.
Yeah.
I was blown away visually. And I thought it was the most aggressively psychedelic, out there music. Just this one song that I had seen them play in years.
Yeah.
It was, I don't think that there was really a solo for 20 minutes.
Right.
It was just sound.
Yeah.
it made me think like Pompeii.
Layers upon layers. Yeah.
Like Pompeii-ish Pink Floyd at times,
Yeah.
but with way more technical effects. And Page's new keyboards that we've talked about briefly are, I mean, he's throwing them in everywhere. There's a lot of synth effects.
Yeah.
I thought Mike was using, again, older synth bass and enveloping sounds. I thought Trey is getting back to his wah pedal a little more. These are all good signs. I thought the band was listening to each other really, really well. I thought they were laughing.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't listened to enough of all of this.
Yeah.
But what little I listened to was enough for me to go back and really fine tooth comb all those shows. I was very impressed. I do think calling it 4.0 is a good idea because it sounds fresh. It sounds new.
Right. It does.
And they're trying different things. And I think, you know, a juxtaposition to the show we just listened to, I did not hear any big rockin' solos.
Right.
From what I listened to. It was very band interplay oriented and gentle, thoughtful, turn on a dime changes.
Yeah.
You know, they were really big ears. I was very impressed.
Yeah, they do have like a new sound, and I have like it just feels like they're on a cusp of something new with what's going on. Maybe not drastically new, but a little bit new, and that's great. And Paige, just like the show we just talked about, I feel like has been leading a lot of these jams.
Yeah.
With this kind of new sounds and wanting to push it. And I think probably of everything I've heard so far, the Simple is probably my number one, but that Blaze On from that same set, I believe, was also.
I listened to that too. It was great.
It was amazing.
I so enjoyed it.
Yeah. It was like a little happier, and it was like more of like a groove, and just but the juxtaposition of those two jams in the same set, you're like, hot damn.
And I like all the new material. I think, I mean, these guys, this is what they know.
Yeah.
And they were forced not to do it for, you know, they've chosen not to do it before, but I don't think they've ever been forced to not do it.
Right.
And I'm getting a real feeling that it took a little while for all the tech to come back. Because, God, that machine of the lighting and the sound and getting everything up and running and feeling comfortable. But I got such a vibe of all of them walking on stage like they've done this a million times, because they have.
Yeah.
And that is where they want to die. Yeah. That is where they feel the most comfortable. That is where they connect to the deeper well of energy in the universe with each other and with themselves. And there's such a sense of missing it and longing for it that happened to all of us during the pandemic. We missed and longed for so many things.
Yeah.
And I think the audience, as much as I'm not going to go to a show right now for good reason.
Yeah.
But I think the audience feels the same way. And if I was in that audience, I would feel the same way.
Yeah.
And I think that energy is palpable, and it's special. I didn't think they would live up to the special, and they really are.
Right.
I don't know why I didn't think they would. 3.0 disappointed me in many ways, but I'm impressed. It's rare for me to say.
Yeah, and I do think, you know, for me, I mentioned this before that like Trey's tone was sometimes a problem for me in 3.0, and for some reason so far on these shows it's been less of a problem. So my understanding,
I think there's adjustments.
Yeah, that I understand there's some adjustments, and I'm noticing it. So I like that. But yeah, I mean, I webcasted the 8-1 show and watched the Tweezer and then followed.
I listened to that Tweezer. It was good.
And I thought it was great. I mean, I had like a few minutes of it where I was just like, not my favorite, but then it busted into just this like unbelievable groove, like so swampy and so thick and so much to listen to. And like one of those jams where you listen to it and you feel like you could just like start it over again and listen to it because there was so much happening that you really couldn't soak it all up. You can only just choose parts of it to soak up. And then the Farmhouse Waste, I thought was like a fantastic follow-up. And I'm a huge fan of their Fall 97 arrangement of Farmhouse, which is not exactly how they played it, because Paige played some sort of cool keyboard that I don't know what the name of it is back in Fall 97, but it was like more, it was soft, and there wasn't as much of a Trey solo. There wasn't like a big sort of bombastic emotional Trey solo in Farmhouse. It was more just the beautiful interplay of the four of them, almost like a Roguet. Like that's how I remember the fall 97 versions, and I've always longed for them. And this was the first
Were you
one.
at Colorado with us? I can't remember.
No, in 97, no.
Yeah.
No.
I'm trying to remember because we went to Vegas, then Utah, and then the two Colorado shows.
Right.
And that first night in Colorado was the first Farmhouse.
Right.
After they'd done it on, what was it, Conan?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was the first one, and it's the best Farmhouse I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable.
Yeah.
And I remember Ryan and I just going, oh my God. It was like, it was very, I mean, I was a West Coast person, but it felt Tom Petty. It felt West Coast. It felt like that whole, like the canyon sound.
Right.
Like, but Phish doing that.
Exactly. Yeah. I love that song.
And
do you remember the rumors that it was the Neville Brothers when it first came out? That was like the first rumor that came our way. It's a Neville Brothers song.
Yeah, I remember Black Eyed Katie, someone saying it was a Frank Zappa song at that show too. That was the Vegas opener, was the first Black Eyed Katie.
Yeah.
And everyone, that's like a Zappa jam. They just did it different. This was like early internet days, man. We didn't know what was going on. That tour was fun. Those shows were fun. Yeah. And I love the official release of the second of the Denver shows.
Yeah. But this Farmhouse was lovely. It was like really soft.
Yeah, I agree.
And I
really listened to it. It was great.
Yeah. So.
I'm pleasantly surprised. I think there's going to be more to come.
Oh yeah.
I hope they have the legs for it and the stamina.
Yeah.
I mean, they're getting old, and I think it's a long tour.
Yeah.
But they all look good.
Yeah.
They look refreshed. They look happy. In good shape. I mean, I think, Trey keeping sober is great.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that it's, his reticence for improvising and really pushing it out there is gone. He was taking risks.
Oh yeah.
A lot of risks.
Yeah.
And like he was throwing out changes of chords out of nowhere, and the band was jumping right on him.
Yeah.
And you could see the little smirks where he's like, shit, yes. Like it felt good. It felt really good.
Yeah.
And I'm really looking forward to it. So I'm glad they're on tour again. And, I'm such a smug asshole when it comes to this stuff. Like, I don't even care.
Right.
But now, I have to check myself sometimes.
Yeah. Well, thanks, COVID, for the reboot. Sounds like we all needed it.
Maybe. I mean, I still would have rather done without it in grand scheme, but
I'm a glass half full kind of guy.
We'll see at some point here.
Well, so let's wrap it up. I don't have any suggestions, honestly, because I've been so busy listening to Phish. I haven't even listened to all the live bait, which I can't believe. There's stuff on there. I'm like, I can't wait to hear that, but I've just been so busy.
Yeah, I'm in the same exact place.
Yeah.
The new stuff's been fun.
Yeah.
My only recommendation, because I crush so many podcasts at work, and I'd heard about it, but it kind of took me a minute, and I cannot get enough, is May I Elaborate?
Oh, yeah.
Daily Wisdom from J.B. Smooth.
I've been listening to that. Yeah.
It's every day.
Yeah.
It is. His co-host Miles is the best. He just, yeah. Uh-huh. Okay, well, moving on. I love his voice. I love his attitude. And JB is just the absolute best. It's like half character, half him. I shouldn't find myself wanting to talk like him every time after I listen to an episode. But I do, because it is just fantastic.
Well, for those, comedians or tight asses that, like to insist that cutscene doesn't do anything for making things funny. I mean, just the juxtaposition of him just being like, you just gotta fucking relax. You just gotta be calm ass motherfucker. It's funny. Like, just those concepts mixed together are funny. It's simple, but it's a hoot.
And they're all quick. They're all easy. So many podcasts now are doom and gloom. It's like true crime mixed with climate change, mixed with politics, and you're just, what am I doing? I like to learn, but I'm getting destroyed here. Yeah. And then you put this on, you're like, oh yeah. Human beings are pretty fucking cool. This is great. I can do this.
Yeah.
So I recommend that daily.
I get behind that suggestion fully.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's where I'm at. I thought the show was great. I'm really loving the new stuff. I'm looking forward to listening to 1230 93 a lot. I know that show inside and out, but it has been a little while, and I remember the last time I'd forgotten how the Mike song is as revelatory as it actually is. So let's hope it holds up.
Yeah, well, I have a lot of history with the show, just like you, so I'll save it for next time.
Good, we'll get there.
Okay. Well, it was a pleasure, Sam.
As always.
We'll see each other soon.
Yep.
Okay.
Take care. I'm going to bump my mic now and snap those things. Hello there, friends, and thank you for listening. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, or would like to reach out to Ian and I about anything at all, you can find us at companion2thecompanion@gmail.com.